What are post-structuralism and deconstruction? If you're curious about how we interpret and understand texts, ideas, and even the world around us, you're about to enter a fascinating realm of philosophical thought. Let's explore two key concepts: post-structuralism and deconstruction. Post-structuralism emerged in the 1960s in France as a reaction to structuralism. Structuralism suggested that human culture could be understood through underlying structures, much like the way language works. However, post-structuralists argued that these structures are not fixed or objective. Instead, they are influenced by broader systems of power and culture. Key figures like Jacques Derrida, Michel Foucault, and Roland Barthes were central to this movement. They challenged the idea that texts or ideas have a single, stable meaning. Instead, they proposed that meaning is created through the interaction of language, power dynamics, and historical contexts. One of the core ideas in post-structuralism is the rejection of binary oppositions. For example, structuralism would often arrange concepts in hierarchical pairs like male-female or rational-emotional. Post-structuralists argue that these oppositions are not fixed and that the dominant term in a pair does not necessarily depend on its subservient counterpart. Now, let's talk about deconstruction, a critical approach closely associated with post-structuralism. Deconstruction was largely developed by Jacques Derrida and is a way of analyzing texts to reveal their underlying contradictions and ambiguities. Deconstruction challenges traditional notions of language and meaning by showing that texts are composed of unstable binary pairs. For instance, concepts like good-evil or presence-absence are not as clear-cut as they seem. Instead, they are subjective and can have multiple, conflicting meanings. Derrida's concept of free play in language is important here. He argues that language does not have a central, fixed meaning but is open to various interpretations and creative uses. This is similar to how you can use Lego blocks in different ways, not just following the instructions. Deconstruction also emphasizes the role of the reader in interpreting texts. It suggests that the reader's own biases and experiences influence how a text is understood, and there is no single, definitive interpretation. In practice, deconstruction involves closely analyzing a text to find places where the author's intended meaning might be interpreted in different, possibly contradictory ways. For example, in a poem, a line could have both a literal and a figurative meaning, and both interpretations are equally valid. In summary, post-structuralism and deconstruction are about questioning fixed structures and meanings. They highlight the complexity and fluidity of language and meaning, showing that texts and ideas are open to multiple interpretations and are influenced by various factors such as power, history, and the reader's perspective. This approach encourages a more nuanced and flexible understanding of how we create and interpret meaning.